I got to kick this thing off. Can I kick it off? 1, 2, 3, 4. Ladies and gentlemen, listen.
I don't know that mainstream media is going to be able to provide the hard-hitting interviews. I think it's going to have to be podcasts because we don't have as much to lose as they do. So it's like they have these paychecks and careers and these bosses. I've said this before. I can be as rude and as, contrarian, whatever I want to be, because can't nobody fire me. So I can do all these things. I can say whatever I want to say. Matter of fact, I somehow accidentally became the golden girl. So I'm necessary for my job. I'm not going anywhere. The recession is not going to hit me. It's going to strengthen.
Recession proof.
Yeah. Listen, this is going to just increase my caseload.
So number one, I can fire you, but I never would.
You can't fire me. I'm just gonna be calling in to the show, be like, I have a question.
You're gonna be in the comments hazing us, you know what I'm saying?
YouTube.
You would never
remember me.
Right, never get fired. And probably if we did fire you, you'd ever like, what happened to the girl? You already lost one. What happened to this one? Man, listen, the show.
Right. Are y'all being abusive to women?
It starts in their name. Man, listen.
Then they'll play this episode and they'll be like, she was on to some with Angela Yee.
Yeah,
she couldn't deal with them other two knuckleheads.
Right. Nah. And then I'm just gonna start my own show and be like, I found my piece, y'all. Found my piece.
But I'll say this. Angela Yee, as much as I like her show is a totally different vein. She's more so in the relationship, call in anonymous, and that's her lane, right? She never really got to do the real hard-hitting questions because she always had those two idiots over talking her. But she still is a part of, and to your point, corporate media. And corporate media is always going to be problematic. They did not give Charlemagne $200 million for 5 years to speak his mind. That's in contrary to what they want the message to be. I don't know what Stephen A. Smith got, but he didn't get paid out like he did because he got a boatload, right?
Yeah.
It up, but they didn't give him that money if they felt like he was going to speak against the status quo in a real way. So to your point, yes, it's going to take shows like the Man Listen Show and other podcasts, and because some of these podcasts are corporate podcasts. They've been bought and paid for it too.
A lot of them, Spotify, only Apple Podcasts. Yeah,
right. Yeah. And the only ones that can really do what they want to do is Joe Rogan.
Mm-hmm.
So
but see, this is the thing, and this is kind of where the lines get blurred, is because in capitalism in the United States, it's always the bottom line. So the news has blended into media. It's not really news, it is media, and there's a difference. So the journalists have to be as much entertaining as they do have to be hard-hitting, because they have to get the clicks. So if you're just coming on and telling the facts, just the facts, ma'am, the old school journalist stuff, you're not going to get the clicks. I'm not going to pay for, to get behind your paywall. I want some scandal. I mean, that's how we are. We want some scandal. We want some arguments. We want some debate back and forth. We don't want the just straight up, just the facts. This is what's happening. This is why it affects you. We want some kind of back and forth banter. And so that's where it gets really dicey. And anytime something like this happens, man, I always think back to, man, it probably wouldn't even, it'd be just like the Breakfast Club now, but BET News, man, like we there's a void right there, like of like a BET News or something like that, that at least it told the story more from a Black perspective, and that kind of thing. That's something that I think we're lacking.
Well, we got
because people want to be
we got our
told what
frat
to think.
brother Roland Martin that's doing doing the work, but his
Yeah.
reach isn't the same as somebody that's on
Yeah.
cable news like BET.
Right.
And BET,
But
from what I saw and what I believe, BET ain't even ran by Black folks no more. So we could just go
No,
ahead.
that's what I say. It'll be different
Yeah,
now,
we
but
could just
yeah,
ask
yeah,
we could ask BET all the way out the topic.
yeah. That's Viacom
but
all day.
sometimes that's the fear though. So like if his reach expanded too far and he ended up getting bought up by somebody, would that put a strain on the topics that he's able to speak on, his voice, his topics? You know what I'm saying? So at some point you almost have to fear getting too big, getting
You
too
do.
expansive. Because once your voice gets to reach a certain amount of people, someone's going to try to control it. And it's just one of those things where it's like when you're working on something and they see that you're having an impact, you have to prepare for outside parties coming to try to take control. And some people can't anticipate that it's going to come in the form of financial contributions. Oh, I just need to, we'll put some money into it, we'll buy you some new mics in the studio and fly y'all out to this. All you got to do is not ever talk about any of the people that sponsor this show. Well, no, but it's hard to say no to that when you're doing something that you love and you would like for, you would like to have the opportunity to put more time and energy into it. If I didn't have 100 clients that I needed to talk to every single day or do all the things that I do, could I put more time and energy into the things that I love? Of course. But once they start putting that financial backing behind it, they also couple that money with control. And a lot of people do not see that coming. And once you start limiting our voices and limiting our impact, that's how they control our reach. So once we get reach, they limit the voice and the impact. As long as you don't have any reach, they let you say whatever you want to say. But once you start reaching people and they catch wind of you, they on top of it. I promise you.
So
I'm working on something right now, and they talked about it and they brought it up to one of the people in California. It was like, I hear y'all working on this in Georgia. Uh, we need to know, we want to be a part of it. We want to know the models so we can try to implement this in California. We haven't even implemented it in Georgia. How do you know about it in California? Why? Because they have their eyes on everything that we are doing always. And we
Listen,
just have
listen.
not paid attention to that enough.
I don't know what white folks would do if they didn't have black
Whatever it takes.
if they didn't no, listen, let me finish. If they didn't have black people to hate and fixate on. Like their whole existence is based off of trying to make ours worse.
Mm-hmm.
They just have an innate murder, death, kill.
and that's the thing. It comes from, I saw somebody on social media talking about this. It's like, our ancestors came from a land that was rich and plush, and they came from a place where famine and scarcity was there. And so they excelled at creating ways to be destructive and to kill and to rob and murder. That's in their DNA because they had to take from others. So when we saw them as equals, hey, let's trade, they saw it as, oh, these motherfuckers weak. Let's take their shit. We got ships with cannons on it or whatever. They can't stand up to us because we never really had to develop and hone that mindset or that skill set, right? Because we didn't have to. And I always tell people they are afraid of the get back. So that's why they watch every single thing that we do. That's why they had the laws where black people can't, y'all can't congregate. Y'all can't meet without somebody white there to watch or whatever, because they know if the roles were reversed, they would burn this whole thing down before they allow what they did to us be done to them. So that's why they watch us. That's why you got black women out doing yoga and stuff in the park, and some white woman comes along and says, "What are y'all doing? Y'all shouldn't be here." That's why you got black people in Indianapolis. These brothers in Indianapolis organized a community workout. They had hundreds of people out there running hills. They had a DJ, they had the elderly out there, they had the babies out there. They called the police on them.
Of course they did. They didn't have a permit.
Their whole existence is to try to sit there and shit on, and that's, it goes back to Tony Hinchcliffe. What can I do to piss them off, make them mad? And all they do is this. I bet you they on what they 4chan or whatever little circle jerk website these little racist white boys use. They probably up there having the time of their life laughing about how Tony Hinchcliffe went on the black man's show and said a racist black joke that because that's the thing that they've always talked about George Floyd.
Yeah.
Try to say he died because he was a drug addict. They tried to make fun of it. They tried to do all these things to dehumanize him. And the thing that made it sad was the family said, "Hey, Kevin, like, dude, you said that you was, you supported us. And how you gonna let this ride?" At what point is it about your manhood? I look at Dr. King. I look at me and Last Frat Brothers. I look at Dr. King. Remember, in one of his main speeches, when he talked about being black and beautiful, he said, "Don't let anybody take your manhood." That's the Dr. King that I know. He said, "Don't let anybody take your manhood." You talk about Reverend Adam Clayton Powell. And he said, "Hey, man, Martin Luther King is cool. But listen, we're not going to go too far with the nonviolent stuff, because at the beginning of this, it's about your manhood." And Kevin Hart, where's your manhood at, bro? And I hate to say that to another black man, but where's your manhood at? Why you up here explaining and doing all this stuff about this white boy making this racist ass joke? Not a racial joke, a racist ass joke. And you expect us to listen to how you explain it in your mind and you rationalize it in your mind. Well, it's a live production. What do you want me to do? The same thing they would have done if you were talking about them. I bet you if Katt Williams or Kevin Hart would have got up there and said some shit about Charlie Kirk, they would have cut it out. Am I wrong?
Well, he said they did say some stuff about him. I don't know. I didn't watch it.
I think I did say that. But was it a white person or was it a black person that said it? That makes a difference.
I don't know. I don't know. But yeah.
So it's okay to dissent and have questions and concerns against black people publicly, but not black movements publicly, is what I'm hearing.
Don't go there.
So we can criticize Kevin Hart.
Because you are Mr. Fantastic, Fantastic Four region to try to connect those two things together. Don't do that.
No,
because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back and edit that compliment that I gave you out the show.
Do you see?
Hey,
this ain't a live production. You're gonna rewrite history.
I ain't Kevin Hart.
This ain't a live production. We can edit.